Greetings and welcome to TKAAM Thursdays, your midday cultural break. I'm Denise Sherman and I serve as the Executive Director here at the Kansas African American Museum. Well, it's February, and February is the month that we honor and celebrate Black history. Black History Month started in 1915 by Carter G. Woodson, an alum from University of Chicago who also had a doctorate from Harvard University. After he participated in a national celebration of the 50th anniversary of emancipation, which was sponsored by the state of Illinois, he decided to form an organization called the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History to promote Black life and history, which evolved into February, which became the official month to learn more about African American contributions to our society. Today, I have two wonderful guests from Exploration Place, and TCAM is partnering with Exploration Place this year to focus on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math disciplines. So, welcome. I would like to introduce Victoria Mitchell and Laura Roddy. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do, your role, and tell us a little bit about Exploration Place?
Great. Well, my name is Laura Roddy, and I serve as the Chief Advancement Officer for Exploration Place. Uh, one of those things that I'm always interested in is what we can do to help Exploration Place grow, bring in new visitors, and what new amazing things we can create and build together that makes our community stronger and our museum stronger. And one of the amazing opportunities that came our way, Victoria will tell you more about, is an opportunity through a grant and a partnership to feature some of our amazing African American Earth and space scientists.
So I am Victoria Mitchell. I am the education manager at Exploration Place, which is a title that encompasses a lot. Partially that involves writing and executing smaller grants and working with our grants team on some of our larger grants, as well as scheduling, daily operations. Sometimes you'll see me on the news. You might see me out teaching. I just do a little bit of everything, but it's a lot of fun. So the partnership came out of receiving or finding out there was a grant through NISNet, which is the National Informal STEM Education Network. It started out a long time ago as the Nano Informal STEM Education Network, and they changed it to more encompass everything instead of just focusing on nanotechnology, which is what the original purpose of it was. But it's grown throughout the years, and part of what they wanted to do was provide a way for museums to partner with other museums or organizations in their community to highlight people of color or other minority groups. So it could have been women, it could have been working with Pacific Islanders. There's a whole lot of other options for it. We chose to reach out to you guys and do something for Black History Month. And this has also been a really cool grant because it's allowed me and our grants manager to have some DEIA conversations. So that's diversity, equity, inclusion, and acceptance. Sorry, I had a moment. But we were able to get lots of professional development in that as well, which I think is something that's absolutely needed, especially in the museum world, so that we can continue to be diverse and working our way towards as much acceptance and equity as we can.
Well, it sounds like you've had a busy year, and I know that we started this conversation months ago.
Yes.
And it's evolved from the time that we first had our original conversation about what if and how could we to now here we are. And I cannot tell you how excited I am that we're able to not only talk about STEM, because that is a focus for us here at TCAM this year in 2022, but also to do so with a group that really focuses on some of those disciplines or most of the disciplines there and learn more. So let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen in February and how you're moving this project forward.
So we are going to highlight 4 Earth and space scientists from the African American community, one of which is local, and that's John Brooks Slaughter. And 3 at the national level, we have Katherine Johnson, who many of you are probably very familiar with because she was in the Hidden Figures movie. And then we will also focus on Warren Washington. and Mae Jemison, who is an astronaut. So we have 4 amazing scientists that will be projected on the side of our building, one for each week of February, with a QR code and that will lead you to our website and with some information about each of the scientists there.
So this is really, we're excited because we have an awesome, sort of iconic looking building. If you, everyone who's in Wichita knows we have, it's very geometric, it's very sweeping. And so the round shaped island building, it just makes a perfect surface for projection. And our mission as a museum is about inspiring a deeper interest in science and technology through creative and fun experiences for all. And I think, well, this is going to be creative and fun. It's going to involve us projecting. So we have a lovely portrait of each of these individuals, one per week, and that will be just shining on the side of our building. And so, of course, we do get traffic. Every night of the year down at Exploration Place, we're right there by the Keeper of the Plains, and so there's the Ring of Fire nightly. But in this day and age, just as we're using Facebook as our avenue now, we will be using social media to get some amazing shots, highlight that new person every week, and get the word out that way. And I hope that inspires some folks to come out and look a little bit for themselves. And February can be chilly, but we are also open Thursday evenings till 8 every night. So you can go in and enjoy the exhibit from inside Exploration Place, but it is looking out on the side of the building. So it's really great what can be done with projection. And so you'll see their face, and then you'll see their name, the year they were born, the year they died, or a couple of them are still alive, as well as a basic career title. And then if you go to www.exploration.org/BHM for Black History Month, we'll have a little bit more information, a little more biographical information on each of those, and we'll have links back and forth to the TKAAM website, and learn more about the trailblazers that TKAAM has honored over the years as well.
So, if I hear you right and understand correctly, this is an outdoor exhibition that anyone could view in their car as they drive by, or can they see this from your parking lot as well?
So you can actually see it from the parking lot. So
Okay.
Exploration Place is 2 different buildings that are connected via a bridge. So if you're walking the river walk and you happen to go under our bridge, if you look out onto the river, we have a huge span of brick on the what we call the island side of the building. So it's pretty well blocked from the road, but it is something that if you're down by the Keeper of the Plains, or if you're just walking or jogging, walking your dog out on a date night with some coffee, you can just walk by it and see it as soon as sundown hits. But there will be obviously some signage out that will be out all day. You just won't be able to see the projections except for at night.
And so when they come to Exploration Place, you'll be able to be guided to where you can go and see this from the outside. You don't have to come in, but of course you do want them to come in at some point to see all of the different
sure, we love
activities.
guests anytime. So Thursday nights we're open, but yeah, this is just free. This is something we think is, it's important. It's a good way for really neat connection point for us to say, we found it in STEM. We have a tremendous need for more involvement in STEM careers, and anybody and everybody. And there's groups of people, women, African Americans who maybe have not been as represented because maybe didn't have opportunities. So in past, because of the way society was set up, but we now can just show. I mean, I think that representation is really important. Just it matters. And so just highlighting these different things, we hope that's kind of inspiring to some, oh, look at this, what, these different careers.
So it's each week there's 4 different featured scientists, if you will. And so who is week 1?
Week 1 is Katherine Johnson,
Okay.
who was featured in Hidden Figures, an absolute favorite movie of mine, not only because I find this story and her life very interesting, but also because my favorite topic is Earth and space science. So it's very fun for me to be like, oh, yes, we're going to rockets and NASA, and yay. But she is one of the more prominent figures that I feel paved the way for female African Americans in NASA and in Earth and space science. Of course, there are many more that we will talk about, a couple going through, but So she majored in math. Little history here. She majored in math and French. I learned that one. Did not know that, which was fun for me because I took French. I don't remember any of it, but I took French in high school, so it was like cool learning some stuff. But she actually was a teacher for a really long time as well, and then found out about the position at the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, which is what NASA was before it became NASA. And she then was able to be a human computer. So she was really amazing at math. And human computers are what we used before we had regular computers. So basically, human computers had to sit there and do the calculations and then test the calculations and then edit the calculations and do everything that we have computers that can do in minutes. And it would take them hours to days to do these calculations. And um, but she's the one that allowed us to get Project Mercury and Project Apollo out. And it's like my nerd brain is very happy, like learning about all of this. And it's just very, a little emotional for me too. So, but so a couple of fun facts about Katherine Johnson, other than the French thing. She co authored 26 papers throughout her lifetime.
Oh, wow.
There's 26 scientific papers that she co-authored through NASA. She received the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Obama in 2015. And then she also received the Silver Snoopy Award. Are you familiar with that one?
No, I'm not.
All right. So it's also called the Astronauts Award, and it's
Okay.
given to those who have given outstanding contributions to flight safety and mission success. So she was awarded that the same year, 2017, that they renamed the computational building at NASA after Katherine Johnson. So she does also have a memoir called my remarkable journey. My best friend just finished reading it. It's now on my to be read list.
And there's a book, Hidden Figures, before the movie
Yes.
came out. That's pretty good too.
Yes, it is. But her memoir was actually published less than a year before she passed away. So it was written at the very end of her life, but I've heard some really amazing things about it, and it's now on my reading list.
It's very, she had so many years, or really, you think of kind of living in obscurity and even struggling to be recognized within NASA. So it was really cool that she's almost become, I think she's pretty much become a household name these days. And it's kind of awesome to think about. There's some of the astronauts, they wanted to say, I want double check that, and I want Catherine to double check that number, because when you want to have trust that there wasn't an oopsie in those calculations, and so they knew that she had the skills, and that she, they felt like they could trust her.
I can't help but note your level of excitement to learn this information about someone from, I would say, our culture who, again, made these significant contributions, relatively obscure, like you said, little known. Other people, a lot of times, get credit for the work that African Americans have done over the years. And so, just to have an opportunity, first of all, for this story to come to light, I wish that when I was young and in school, in grade school, that I knew about Katherine Johnson, because I actually struggled in math. And so, to me, I didn't have a figure or a icon or someone to look up to that was that could demonstrate that yes, you can do this. And so to learn that story as an adult was just very affirming. But it's more important to learn it as a child, and it's more important to start out your life, as you all do a lot with young people at Exploration Place, again, with the focus on STEM disciplines, for them to embrace that early and know that there are not only opportunities and possibilities, but now covering the gamut of who can demonstrate what all those possibilities and opportunities can do for you.
Yeah, Denise, this makes me think. I have a colleague, and she said this, and I'm like, that is so true. She talks about how when you think about the importance of STEM and math, when it comes to literacy, we just have decided that this is important. You're going to learn it, and we don't just accept it. But too often we let people get away with kind of like, oh, well, I'm just supposed to be bad at math, and we kind of give up. And so I think that's one of the things we think is important in encouraging STEM, is just, it not saying, oh, I'm just bad at that, but
Mhm.
taking the time, learning, finding the best method. Everyone learns in different ways, but just considering it, something that we learn to read, and you're gonna learn some arithmetic too.
Well, and there's a larger picture to that, Laura, as far as what careers are open to African Americans once they master or have the opportunity to be in these programs and then have a career path that allows you, as we can see with some of the folks that we're going to talk about today, whether they blaze the trail themselves with very little encouragement and often many, many obstacles and challenges, where we talk about DEI&A, opening more channels and encouraging and again providing an opportunity to get into the pathway is very important. Pathways are very important because usually by the time you're in second and third grade, if you're not on a pathway or trajectory to get into some of these uh, you know career pathways, if you will, or opportunities, by taking the right courses in school, by embracing these disciplines that, again, like you said, maybe it's not stressed for one way or one reason or another, or you feel that you don't have the capacity or the ability to master this, which again, it's always amazing to me when I hear stories, especially of African Americans who were basically did not get a lot of formal training as a young person and went on to do miraculous things because they were self-taught. Regardless of which way you go, it's very important to embrace that early. So when you're talking first, second, third grade, as you are exploring and learning the most as a child, being introduced and have the opportunity to see the larger picture, even if it's something as simple as Legos and some of the other things that you probably offer as an immersive learning experience at Exploration Place. It's very important that students are exposed to this. And so again, just I just can't. I'm really excited not only for African Americans and other people of color, but I'm also excited that you know this and that you've had a chance to be exposed, because that really broadens the entire learning experience. So, who's in week 2?
Well, week 2 will actually be Warren Washington.
And tell us about Warren Washington.
So Warren Washington is from Oregon. No, he went to Oregon State.
Okay.
That's what it was. And then he earned his master's degree in meteorology. And so he's actually a very prominent meteorologist. He worked for NOAA, the National Atmospheric. I'm going to blank. Ocean and Atmospheric Association. Yes, between the two of us, we'll get it. There's so many acronyms. So he's mostly known for his work on computer-assisted climate modeling that helps measure the increasing amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So his models have really helped us determine climate change models, which allows us to figure out how much carbon is in carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide in the atmosphere, which then helps us figure out how much we need to reduce our emissions. So without that, most of what we know about climate change wouldn't be able to exist. He now serves as the national chair of the National Science Board. And he retired from that in 2006. So that was his last job. And he's retired, just hangs out now, living his best life. I say he's retired, but this man, he just never stops. He's always finding something to do. I from what I was reading, he's taken teaching positions at various colleges throughout his career, and just generally a pretty busy dude.
Well, you bring that up, and we also have a African American from Wichita. I believe she's now deceased, June Bacon Bursey, who was born here in Wichita and was the first African American meteorologist.
Whoa.
From Wichita, Kansas. And what we will do is put some information on our website to complement what you have on yours.
Nice.
So as people go to the respective websites to learn more about your program and ours, they'll be able to learn a little bit more about June. And maybe we should come back and talk a little bit more about her career, her stellar career as first African American woman who was a meteorologist from. I believe she graduated from East High. And so we're excited to share more information about her. Okay, who's next?
Okay, so then week 3 is going to be Mae Jemison. Mae Jemison was the first female African American astronaut. She applied twice before she was accepted, but she also applied during a really challenging time. She applied the year that the Challenger explosion
Yes.
occurred. So she did apply, but then they didn't actually accept any astronauts because of the Challenger tragedy. So she applied again the second year and was one of 12 people accepted into the astronaut training program. But before she even did that, she was traveling to be a doctor, was training to be a doctor. So she went to school to get her medical degree.
She's both a physician and an engineer.
Yes.
Engineering degree and then a physician. And
Yeah.
I know she joined the Peace Corps also.
Yes.
Yeah.
She joined the Peace Corps and then was in Liberia and Sierra Leone for both of those. But after leaving NASA, she went on to found an educational foundation. She has several books. Many of them are children's books, and they're amazing. And she does still do talks across the country about her experience in NASA as the first African American woman. She has served on many a board, and including the American Express Geography Competition. She's the chair of the board there. And then the honorary board, she's an honorary board member for the Center for Prevention of Childhood Malnutrition, which is a huge one, especially for some of our lower income families. Even in Wichita, it's a huge problem. So she also, this is my fun fact about May. She's so good. She is the first real astronaut to appear on television. So she was in Star Trek for one episode. She was so there were many other astronauts after that appeared, or and we can go. That's a whole nother topic.
I have a Lego minifigure somewhere of her. They did a little women in space set, and so May, you can have a little. I mean, anytime you become a Lego, you're kind of an icon, right?
This is true. So currently she leads the 100-year Starship project through the U.S. Defense Advances Research Projects Agency, or otherwise known as DARPA. I had to write that one down because I was not going to remember what that acronym stood for. But that project aims to make sure human space travel is possible within the next 100 years. So we want to travel to another star. Right now, we're also working on the Artemis mission, which gets humans back onto the moon by 2024, which is 2 years away, and then on to Mars to start living there as well. So she's just paved the way for quite a lot of people.
That is a lot. And I remember when she went to space and how proud and how excited I was, because again, to see these images, to see someone who is actually doing it, and we're not talking about a character on a show or someone. I mean, this is the real deal. And not only that, she was beautiful. I mean, just, and young and vibrant and just all that. And so again, just so inspiring. And I hope that as I was inspired by her, that many, many others were inspired to look at her and see, yeah, if she can do it, I can too. And there is no reason not to, be out of this world, right?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, even she was inspired by people. If you look at her memoirs, she was very much inspired by the first woman to be an astronaut. And she was like, well, if a white woman can do it, I can do it. So then she applied and went on. But it had been a dream of hers for a really long time to be an astronaut. She just wasn't sure she could ever do it. And then seeing another female on the trip was able to inspire her in order to do it.
Okay. And so we're into week 4. The last week is?
Yes. So the last week is John Brooks Slaughter. So John Brooks Slaughter is right behind me, right here.
Yes.
He was put into the Trailblazers Hall of Fame this year.
That's 2021.
Oh my gosh, last year. It's 2022.
Well, and it goes for the entire year. So
okay,
we will honor all of our Trailblazers for an entire year with an exhibition and with our Trailblazers Hall of Fame presentation, which we could talk a little bit more about it. But tell us why you selected Dr. John Brooks Slaughter.
We wanted to have that connection to Kansas. So our other 3 scientists, while they are in influential STEM fields in earth and space science, they aren't directly from Kansas. And we felt it was very important to have someone from our state, as well as to help with our partnership with you guys, as you highlight specifically Kansas African Americans.
Yeah, that's correct.
So he is from Topeka. He studied electrical engineering at K-State, so go Wildcats, and earned his master's from the University of California, LA, and a PhD from
Mhm.
University of California, San Diego. So he
That's
just
right.
was like, he just loved California apparently. So the big thing with him is he was the director of the NSF, and he was
And tell
able.
us what NSF is for
NSF
those.
is the National Science Foundation.
Yes.
More in acronyms, so many things. But he was the assistant director there for a long time, and then President Jimmy Carter.
In a field of like climate science or something.
Yeah, astronomics, atmospherics, earth, and ocean sciences was his entire department. That is a lot of things put into one. But President Carter then asked him to be the chair director of the entire NSF, which is a lot. And then after he retired from that, he would later became the president of Occidental College, which is where Barack Obama went. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. So and today he still teaches, if I remember correctly.
That's correct. And
at University of Southern California.
that is correct. I talked with him about 2 months ago.
Oh,
Had an
wonderful.
opportunity to visit with him, and just a delightful, delightful man. I mean, just couldn't be more kinder. And I talked to some of his staff while we were putting together the Trailblazers Hall of Fame and getting information, and they said that he's always that way, always very kind, considerate, a favorite of the as far as faculty, and a favorite of the students. He's still teaching at the University of Southern California,
which is insane to me.
Yes, yes, he is. So just to have a chance to be on the phone and visit with this wonderful icon is just, my goodness, it was more than you can imagine.
I would have been fangirling. Like I'd be like, "Hello, you're so cool. Hi."
Well, he's so humble. I'm sure that he would just like, well, okay, if you think so. But to hear, the accolades from others, and consistent across the board, and as we were researching him for our presentation last year, and again throughout all of this year, we will continue to highlight and use this during our presentations, as well as our educational opportunities, to know that someone who, he said in the video, the presentation, that he didn't have anyone who looked like him. So he was the first person, I think the quote was, he was the first African American aeronautics scientist that he had ever met. I might be paraphrasing that and not too well,
Right.
but he said he was the first he ever met was himself. And so when you do watch, we do invite you to watch the segment, because you
Yeah.
will learn a lot about Dr. John Brooks Slaughter and the people who were influenced by him. His mission, and I don't know if I'm stealing a little bit of what you were going to share, but his mission was to mentor and to blaze a pathway to encourage other people of color, not just African Americans, but all folks of color, to move into the sciences, and especially into engineering. So we certainly honor and adore and pay homage
Yeah.
to him.
Well, and he even serves as the CEO for the National Action Council for Minorities in Engineering. So he does really focus on that as well through his, and honestly, all four of our scientists do highlight and work outside of their careers to promote and continue to inspire. And I absolutely love that.
The original DE&I, right?
Really, the original.
But it's not just that they blazed a trail. That's that who can they then help along the way?
You bet.
They're the first one there, but then who can you
bet.
help stand on your shoulders?
Well, this has been a fast-paced segment, and we're going to wrap up. But there's two people I want to mention real quickly. One is Mr. Ed Dwight Jr., who was inducted as a Trailblazer in 2012. And Mr. Ed Dwight Jr. was a native of Kansas City, served in the military, and obtained an aeronautical engineering degree from Arizona State University. And in 1961, he was personally selected by President John F. Kennedy to enter training as an astronaut candidate. And while he completed the program, he was not selected to serve, but he still is in. He still works in Colorado, lives in Colorado, and he is now a artist. He does sculptures and public art projects.
I'm honestly very jealous of that. Like going in Colorado and just like living your best life with sculptures sounds amazing.
And so we inducted him in the 2012 Trailblazers Hall of Fame. And then one other person we inducted was right behind you as well, Mr. Rip Gooch. And Mr. Rip Gooch is a personal friend of the museum. He recently passed, and we just celebrated his wonderful life. Mr. Rip Gooch was a not only a trailblazer, but he was also an entrepreneur. He served in the Army. He learned how to fly. He received his private commercial and instructor's pilot license. And in 1959, he opened Aero Services, which offered aircraft maintenance, fueling, flying lessons, charter flights, and aircraft sales. And so we just miss him so much. He would come to the museum and kind of see what we were doing, and it was always available to share and speak and do whatever we needed him to do. But I wanted to bring him up because if we're even as though we're talking about Earth and space,
Right.
if you don't do Earth and space, you could certainly be in the sky. So we wanted to honor him in this segment as well as one of our trailblazers with a similar STEM approach in his career and in his life work. Well, this has just been a wonderful segment, and I hope that we have inspired others to learn about aeronautics, aerospace, and aviation. And again, tell us the dates of the outdoor exhibition. February.
It's
Entire
going to
month
be
of February.
yes. So every week we'll highlight a different scientist. So you'll want to come out at least once a week to see it.
And your
but
website again?
is exploration.org. If you want to go straight to the Black History Month, it's exploration.org/BHM.
Okay. And we're going to invite you to learn more about Black History Month, period. And so Dr. Lana Reeves, our education director, did a wonderful segment on Carter G. Woodson last year, early 2021. We are going to have that available on our website as well as our Facebook. So just overall learning about Black History Month and then learning about what we talked about today, aeronautics, aviation, and aerospace. So to learn more about Kansas African American history, we invite you to join us at TKAAM Tuesday through Saturday, or visit our website or view our Trailblazers Hall of Fame programs at www.tkaamuseum.org. So thank you for joining us today at TKAAM Thursdays, your midday cultural break. Thank you.